expect too much from their workplaces. If there's an intergenerational survival kit, workplace friendships improve performance more than incentives.
Satya.
Employees who work for long hours are automatically more dedicated.
Mitya. Okay.
Part of employee experience in the company. It's a well-planned, designed conversation.
That practice was called 52 weeks, 52 stories. Every man I meet is superior to me in some way.
Hello and welcome back to a brand new season of Voice of Achievers with me, Yashika. As always, we are talking to leaders, people managers, CXOs and decision makers about better decision making, workplace management, conflicts and building better workplace relationships. Only this time, it's twice the experience and twice the expertise because we have not one but two guests. Our guests today are two very, very interesting gentlemen sharing a warm chemistry and camaraderie. Dr. Vishwanath Joshi is intrigued by why people behave the way they do. So, he went on to do a PhD in careers as a lived experience. He's been long associated as a coach and consultant with Great Place to Work and has served as a Chief People Officer in Hexaware Technologies in the past. His vision is to keep the human in HR alive. Joining him is the warm and suave Sreekumar, a Gallup certified strengths coach. And he comes with over 26 years of work experience across different industries. He's conducted training and facilitation for over 134 organizations, including the Gwalior Central Jail. He hopes to someday do a PhD on the serious role of humor in the workplace. Welcome to the show.
Let's set the context straight. And I want you all to talk about each other. Like, if you were to say three things about VJ without thinking too much, what would they be?
First one would be a phrase, deeply knowledgeable.
Mm-hmm.
Second one is warm. And third is pleasantly positive.
Pleasantly positive. Yeah, we can see that pleasant smile. But what about you? How would you describe?
So I would describe Sri as very agreeable person. I would see Sri as very friendly and of course wealth of knowledge and depth of experience. That's really what and how I have experienced Sri all the time in our interactions.
Tell us how you all met. Let's jump we met. Because anyway, you all are, hardcore film buffs. So let's talk about what happened when you met.
Well, I wish sparks had flown. But, they were waiting to fly a little later. I was introduced to him by his former teammate, Akshita Mehta. And she said, wait a minute, I need to introduce you to somebody. And she brought him over and said, that's Dr. Vishwanath Joshi. He used to be the practice head and also the master trainer certified in GPTW. He's just joined Hexaware Karke. That was the brief introduction. And then I kind of sent him a LinkedIn connection request and that was it. Then a few years back, he comes back to join GPTW and its sister concern, the Great Manager Institute. And that's where I then latch onto him like a leech. Trying to kind of take on from him the fountain of knowledge he possesses within, the practices, the examples he had done. And we had a great time working together. And sometimes I love teasing him a lot.
Would you like to add something?
No, that's how I got lucky, I must say. Sometimes, and we all need this at some point in time in our life, where we want to meet and spend time with people who are like-minded, who have brilliant ideas, but they're also willing to listen to you. So, like I keep saying, agar sunne wala mila to bolne wala kyun nahi bolega. So that's really how we got started on a personal come professional journey. And now we have opportunities to exchange a lot of ideas, a lot of experiences. And I guess that's really what keeps both of us going.
You mentioned the LinkedIn request. And we are typically living in this digital era where, LinkedIn, networking, connections, of course, it started for the both of you with a physical meetup and then the LinkedIn request and then again a physical meetup. But now LinkedIn is used profusely for employer branding, for talking about organizations, their culture, etc. If there's one thing that is highly underrated in terms of employer branding, what would that be, according to you?
I think LinkedIn or any such platform try their best to capture that, but I don't think it's a substitute to a lived experience that people have, which they may not necessarily be able to express on LinkedIn.
Right.
And that's really where I think that employer branding and employee branding both become important, because as an organization, I want to create a great brand so that I can attract and retain my best talent. But you don't necessarily have all the information that you need to appeal to the right set of employees or set of talent. And I think that lived experience is underrated and is a very, very important.
इसको कैप्चर कैसे करें? मतलब आज अगर ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस को ऐसे कैप्चर करना है, how do you do it?
A lot of companies today have started interesting practices where they're actually projecting role models in the company. Yeah. The young people who are coming into the organizations today have a very, very dire need, a very pressing need to look up to somebody.
Right.
And as an organization, especially, mid to large size organizations which are evolving, which are maturing, some of them are matured, they have lots of such role models. And the best they can do is to create platforms where such role models are exposed to the young generation, so that they know what does it feel like, what is it like to be in an organization like this. So one of the examples that I often quote is a company called Siemens ran a program called Humans of Siemens,
right,
where they actually promoted such role models, senior people who have been with the company, who have grown with the company, who have lived their best part of their life, and now they also are looking for opportunities to give back, share back. So in employer branding, I think apart from the branding elements and the design and everything that experts do in this area, I think the real need is to create these role models and project these role models as authentic role models in the company. So that's really how I look at employer branding today.
Would you want to add something?
Yeah. In fact, when I first had my moment of truth with the Great Place to Work Institute, I was actually sitting through a session that was being conducted in Gurgaon by two senior people from GPDW. One was a lady named Joyati Banerjee, and another was Darren Patra. Dan shared an interesting practice from a company called Qualcomm. That practice was called 52 Weeks, 52 Stories.
Wow.
Okay. Essentially, what happens is any person who joins Qualcomm, they get taken out for lunch every week by someone from Qualcomm, from different departments. At the end of 52 weeks, you've met 52 people. 52 people have met you. They get to know about their personal journeys. They get to know about the organizational journeys through all that stuff. It sounded very great to me. I just memorized it. But I wasn't prepared for an interesting surprise. So in June 2022, I was doing a session for another client in Hyderabad. And there we had a context to share the story, share this practice. Now, if I'm standing and presenting a session like this, that on the extreme right, there was a lady named Mrs. Vijaya Naidu. And as I started talking about this practice, she got very excited and I caught it from my peripheral vision. And at the end of it, I turned to her and I said, Miss Naidu, you seem to want to say that. I want to say that. I said, yes. I used to work in Qualcomm. And there I've witnessed this practice, I've experienced this practice, I've benefited from this practice. She said the very next day after I joined, someone senior in the organization took me out for lunch. And he told me everything about his experience there. And in the end, he asked me, Vijay, is there a problem that you're facing? Is there something you can do to help? She said, there are 27 of us also we joined yesterday. We have a problem with our access cards. By evening, he got it sorted for all of them.
Yeah.
And that experience stayed with her to the different organization she was in at that point of time. For me, it was a wonderful way in which the circle comes full.
Well, that's very interesting. And now that you mentioned different generations, and even in your story you mentioned how the older ones or the more experienced ones are sharing their experiences with the younger ones. We are living in an age where there are multiple generations working in an organizations together. And each one comes with a different mindset, with a different style of work, with, of course, different opportunities available to them. If there's an intergeneration survival kit, okay, that is available, what are the 3 things that should definitely be there?
I'm convinced if you say 3 things, these are the 3 things which are very, very important in that survival kit. One is respect. Okay. Absolute foundation of great positive relationships at the workplace, especially when they're across generations. So one is respect.
And that goes both ways.
Yeah, both ways, absolutely. Yeah. And this kit I'm assuming is for
It's both.
all
Of
generations,
course,
right?
yes.
So one is respect. Second is willingness to learn. Because each generation has something to learn from the next and the previous generation. And therefore that openness to learn is a very, very significant aspect. And third, none of this is going to work unless there is genuine care. Yeah. Therefore, I would say respect, willingness to learn, and care are the 3 important elements of that kit.
Fun. Very interesting. What would you like to add?
So before I share what I have to share, what I want to add to his is, along with the 3 things he put, are we also building a culture that incentivizes, encourages, and celebrates these 3 things of respect and learning and care?
How can they build such a space?
Yeah, we'll get to that.
Yeah, okay.
But that incentivization is very right. That celebration is very important. Because in my experience, Yashika, when I look, my obsession all my life has been to study excellence. Excellent individuals and also excellent organizations. Now, one common factor I found in excellent organizations is to do with the culture. So I try to create my own definition of culture, and this is what I've been able to distill. I look at culture as a balance sheet. Okay. Now, what is in that balance sheet? It is to do with the sum total of the dominant values, beliefs, and behaviors that you role model from the top, that you encourage, acknowledge, appreciate, and inspire and recognize and reward all around, and the degree to which you tolerate non-compliance. Right. So, isme I have seen that the huge component that gets played after the role modeling part is what is it that we are encouraging? What is it that we are recognizing? What is it that we are appreciating? And in that, the care, the respect, and the learn factor, that needs to be incentivized, that needs to be encouraged and appreciated. That I've seen is non-negotiable. To that, I've been really struggling over the last some time to see if it can be really put to those 3 things. He's put it beautifully well. But he'll have to give me 6 things, which I can summarize into this one thing called culture.
Okay.
Now, these 6 elements that I found is, this culture has to have a culture of a great place to work culture. It has to have a culture of a strengths-based organization. This culture has to have a non-negotiable element of well-being across the whole organization. It then also has to have a culture of mindfulness all across. The 5th element, as I see, is humor.
Nice. This is fun.
Is humor. And the 6th element is an element I call POSIP. Are we encouraging a culture of POSIP in the organization?
Can you explain that?
Sure. Usually we've heard a word called gossip, which is destructive. But from a gentleman who has a base in Pune also, Nitya Shanti, I learned this word called POSIP, which is where we're spreading positive stories about people. It's positive gossip.
Okay.
So that also goes around the incentivizing. Are we POSIPing the care, respect, and learning that he was talking about?
I like the possibility.
Right. वो जरूरी है. So those 6 sub-elements will add on to that culture part, is how I would say that.
What is the one non-negotiable to build such a safe space, if I must?
I think the first thing is respect.
One thing that I'm recognizing is that this importance of listening is getting absorbed pretty well in individual work styles as well as organizational cultures. So I'm creating lots of forums and platforms. Yeah, like one of the managers in a company started a very interesting initiative called Bindas Bowl.
Okay.
Now the invitation in the calendar itself doesn't say one-on-one discussion. It says Bindas Bowl, which means both of us meet for a cup of tea, and the whole objective of that conversation is Bindas Bowl. The message itself is Bindas Bowl, right? And suddenly makes people feel on both sides of the table safe, secured, cared for, invited, and therefore the quality of conversation that happens is of a very, very different level than what normally happens in meeting rooms, right? So this is how I look at how some of these get translated into the lived experience in the organizations.
What would you add? Yeah.
No, I'd like to add to that. As I was listening to him, now I've had the occasion of working with a lot of youngsters also. But when we work, the age gap never seemed to play out. And I'll tell you the reason.
Surprising.
Why. I'll
That's
tell you the reason
surprising.
why. It has to do with an interesting quotation which my LLB final year classmate shared with me 27 years back. This is a quote from Ralph Waldo Emerson. Emerson said, "Every man I meet is superior to me in some way. In that, I learn of him." Right?
Let's get a little thoda game खेलेंगे अब हम. We'll make it a little fun.
Sure.
But of course, we'll sit within this realm or ecosystem that we've created. So what I want you to do is, it's very simple. It's called Satya or Mitya. Again, it's true or false.
Okay.
I'm going to share certain statements, and according to you, the first obvious thing that comes to your mind, you say true or false. Ya Satya, ya Mitya.
Okay.
Okay. So we'll go with you first.
All right. Okay.
A toxic boss is the number one reason employees quit, not the salary.
Satya. 100% Satya.
Employees today expect too much from their workplaces.
I would say Mitya.
Okay. Workplace friendships improve performance more than incentives.
Satya. 100%.
Last one. Hiring for culture fit is just like a polite way of saying we are encouraging bias.
Mitya.
Okay. For you, Sri. HR policy should be the same for all generations across the workplace.
Mithya.
Okay.
It
Yeah.
has to be
Really?
customized.
क्या बोल रहे हैं?
It has to be customized. It has to be individualized. The same point he was talking about earlier. One size doesn't fit all. Yeah. Put it as a foundation, but never make it the roof.
Wow, that's a interesting takeaway. Employees who work for long hours are automatically more dedicated.
No. Mithya. I've seen it to be not true.
अच्छा, AI वाला question है ये. AI generated JDs are almost as good as human written ones.
Not sure.
Loyalty to a company no longer exists.
Mithya.
Really? You would say so?
Yes.
Okay, final one. Employee happiness is more important than company profits.
Difficult to say, but I would slant towards Satya.
Okay.
Slight 5% slant towards
Okay.
Satya.
Fair enough. So what we're going to do now, this is our grand finale. We're going to play a game. The game is called Taboo.
Okay.
Okay. So what you essentially have got to do, I have some words here. So you have one word written and there are 4 forbidden words. So there'll be 2 words to him and 2 words for you. The word that you have on top is to be explained to him without using the forbidden words.
Forbidden words. All right.
You can't act, you've got to. This is communication
Explain.
primarily. You're sharing this.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So here's our pouch.
It begins with me again.
Yes.
Okay. Right.
You have your word.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay. Part of employee experience in the company.
Okay.
You go back, you come to the present, you go forward.
Feedback.
Okay, you can do better.
Appreciation. Recognition.
It's a conversation. Okay, it's a well-planned, designed conversation.
Feed forward.
Okay, you can do even better. It's a planned conversation. Happens.
Performance appraisal.
You almost got it.
Almost got it.
Okay.
So let me say the first word is right. You guessed it right.
Okay. Performance appraisal. Bell curve.
The first word is right. So
Performance.
you've got
Okay.
the first.
It's a performance appraisal nahi hai. Performance management. Or
Almost there. Okay. Give me one more One more chance.
Performance acceleration.
No, it's a simpler word than that.
No, I give up.
चलिए दे देते
I give up. Sir.
It's performance review.
हैं.
And I couldn't have used the words feedback, appraisals, score,
I think
HR.
a fun way to do it. You
And
should have said you all are both filmy. You should have said film को बाद में
क्या
analyze
करते
करते हैं film.
हाँ, हाँ. क्या करते हैं हम लोग? Oh,
ठीक है,
yeah,
next
yeah,
one.
makes
That's
sense.
a one.
This
Yeah.
is fun. This is fun.
Okay. Now the next one for you.
Okay. Two words.
Okay.
To give a hint on the first one,
Okay.
you're either on it or you're not on it. Okay. And second is, when you're trying to get on it, you have to, there is something on which, and
Career.
okay. This can be a moment of truth for any employee. The first thing an employee experiences when they join the organization. So what is it?
आपको देखना होगा. Okay, words.
Oh, yeah.
Spreading the rules.
No. So
But that's interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Take it. So the first thing a person experiences when they're joining an organization, the first moment of truth for the first few days,
Moment of truth is a good one.
they go through it. for the
Induction.
first- Give me an alternate word that has two words in it. You're there. You're there. It is, but
Onboarding. Yeah, I got it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was my project when I was doing my MBA.
Yours. Final.
I was trying to say, step on boarding a train.
Ah,
Boarding
you
a
could
train
have-
and put board and on board. Karke. This is fun.
Oh,
You got a tough one. Like,
yeah.
mm.
Okay.
We asked
Two
you.
words.
Okay.
It's a trending topic around the world. I would say specifically in Indian organizational context.
Okay.
Two words, trending topic. And the first word synonym could be mixed. MIXED.
Employee engagement.
Mixed. The first word synonym is mixed.
Generation. Diversity. nahi. I
So it's often connected to also place.
Wow, that's a good one.
place. No, I give up. I give up.
This is also one of my favorite songs, Sri. It's a very beautiful song which has life lessons in it. It says, कभी किसी को मुकम्मल जहां नहीं मिलता, कहीं जमीन तो कहीं आसमान नहीं मिलता. This is the last I can.
No, I give up. I give up.
It's hybrid word.
Hybrid word.
The finale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mixed with a hybrid. I think I got stuck at the first word.
हाँ.
थोड़ा second का कुछ बोलते तो मुझे शायद थोड़ा.
हाँ.
Okay.
कभी मुकम्मल जहां नहीं है ना.
हाँ, सही है. Okay. Again, a trending topic in India, especially over the last 1 month. Hugely controversial, and literally everybody has jumped into it. 3 words. 3 words.
3 words.
Try and break the words. See.
I'll allow him to make the first guess and then
Trending topic. Last 1 month. Everybody jumped onto it.
controversial.
Controversial. Something to do with the weekend working or something like that.
You got the first word correct. That's to do with working से कुछ हटा दो तो मिल जाएगा. That's the first word.
Now that he said it, you can say more. That's the
Weekend.
No. Now that he said it, you can say the first word is work.
Work. First
Work.
word is work. Now look at the other last 2 words.
Working on weekends.
What happens when you work also on weekends? What goes for a toss? What goes for a toss?
Your work life.
You got the second word also right. Now what's left?
weekend,
No,
work,
life,
balance.
work-life
Wow.
balance.
Balance goes for
Wow.
us.
Lovely.
But
Okay.
it's actually very interesting because somebody the other day was telling me, Vijay, it's no longer an issue about work-life balance. It's now work-life integration.
Mm.
साथ कैसे लाया जाए, ना कि अलग-अलग कैसे रखा जाए. Yeah, that's interesting.
So I think the reason why we kind of played this is because another essential aspect at work is communication. How two people, how team members are able to communicate the most toughest things in the most simplest manners, the most creative manners. But last few thoughts. What does achievement mean to you?
Well, now I'll tell you a more
simple.
recent definition of what I believe achievement is about. It is about being contented.
क्या बात?
15 साल पहले शायद ये नहीं था.
Mm.
But now, as I look back and look forward, I think achievement is about being contented. I can't think of a better way of defining achievement.
Thank you so much for your lovely insights, and couldn't be more grateful. Wonderful having you on the show. Thank you.
Thank
And so that's a wrap on this episode of Voice of Achievers. If you like this conversation, do come back for more as we decode leadership, workplace drama, and everything in between, with emotions and minus the corporate jargon. New episodes with the right amount of tough love. Hit that follow button, share it with your work bestie, and if you really enjoyed it, maybe you can share it with your HR and they may just give you the raise. Until next time, stay curious, stay relevant, and most importantly, stay real and sane at work.